Hey everyone, welcome to our Enter Shaolin. I'm gonna have to figure out okay, I'm gonna close that out. Hopefully that means we're still live on that. Okay, welcome everyone to the members Q&A webinar. I almost mixed that up.
I think it's our number 7
webinar, and we're doing a little experiment today. We're also on Facebook Live with this. Sifu Larry is going to be manning the helm, so if anyone on Facebook is watching this and you have some questions for us, feel free to ask away, and we'll take care of those as well. And it doesn't look like any of the members on the actual webinar have any questions yet, so welcome everyone. Let's see, we have quite a few people on. We have Alvin, Bob, Caleb, Catherine, Dominic, John, and Melanie, Richard, and Rick. Welcome.
Any online email questions?
Yes, we do. So we're going to go to those first while everyone is figuring out some questions. Before we get started with that, I just want to say thank you for those that do send in the questions early. It's much appreciated. For those that can't get on, you can always email us at support@entershaolin.com, and that way if everyone else is kind of figuring out what they want to talk about or what they have on their mind, it gives us a chance to go ahead and get started in the training. And if you guys do have any partner related stuff that you have questions for, women's self-defense stuff, you know, I as well as Sifu Larry, yeah, anything that is on your mind, Kung Fu related, we're here to help you. If you have questions about the membership site, how to use it, or questions about joining, we can help you with that as well. So anything related to
comments and suggestions to help our sites make it easier for you as well. So
absolutely
help us to help you.
Yep. And we had some stuff that actually some questions about that too. We also got, I think, about 3 people asking about DVDs again, and I know we covered that in another webinar, but in case you did not see that.
What's a DVD? I stream everything. What the heck is a DVD now?
Right. So in case you're wondering, like, hey, when are you guys going to get DVDs out? We actually started a campaign to help us raise money because we need to get 1 more camera and a couple more lights in order to be able to do the DVDs right.
So please help.
Yes, if you want to contribute to that, there's a couple ways. 1, become a member if you're not one already, and 2, you can go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/Enter Shaolin and be able to donate there and help us be able to get the DVDs a whole lot faster. Once we get those extra equipment done, then we're going to start filming for that. Also, real quick on that, for those people, we had a couple people that are like, oh, I'm just going to wait till you get all your DVDs out and then I'll buy all those because that'll be cheaper than an Abbott. Wrong on 2 points. 1, if we filmed everything for DVD and sold it on DVD, it would actually be more than our Abbott lifetime membership. And number 2, we're not actually going to put everything that we have on the site on DVD. It's going to be a lot more like forms and basics and what else you want to say?
And number 3, we're always adding to the video. So if you buy the DVD, you only get so much at a time. 6 months later, there's going to be another so many videos.
Right, we're always adding new stuff.
Always adding.
And 4, you're not going to be able to get the awesome help, the one-on-one help that you can get, because you can actually, you know, ask questions, you can send in critiques and stuff like that online. But the DVD, you don't get that. So I do get why people want the DVDs. It's actually a better deal to be an online member too. But if you want to buy DVDs as well,
DVD is something you should buy on top of being a member. Not that we're trying to make sales or anything, but if the priority is the membership first.
Right.
The DVD you want to have so you have accessibility if you're going somewhere where there is no internet or where there is no internet. That's where I can see DVDs are useful. Yeah. That you can take it with you when internet's
like supplemental.
Accessible. Right.
Yeah.
The most important is getting on that a lot of the online because we're here to help you that way.
Right.
DVD,
we can help you a lot more with that.
We can't help you. We can only show you what's right, show you what to do, what's wrong in the video, but we can't help you in your personal training in your time.
Yeah, so those are some benefits to being a full member versus just doing DVDs. So it won't be as cost effective to do the DVDs, but obviously if you have like horrible internet and that's the only way you can train with us, you can do that. Obviously, if you send in questions via support@entershaolin.com, we are going to support you and help you the best we can. It's just a heck of a lot easier to be able to do it on the website.
Yeah, or if you're going to the mountains camping with family for a month or two and there's no internet, but you still want to do your training time,
there you go.
Have a DVD player. That's when I would say, yeah, absolutely. That's going to be great for you to have because of purposes like that where internet is not accessible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And another question we get pretty frequently is, when is Enter Shaolin going to be in other languages? Or, when are we going to have subtitles for all the videos? And those are things that we want to do. We really, really, really do. But we are literally a 3-man crew. And Sifu Larry and I do the majority of all the technical stuff. So with that being said, there's just not enough time in the day for us to even get to the majority of marketing and things that we want to do. So as our team builds and grows, and we can bring more people in to outsource more things, then those are some of the things we definitely want to do. First would definitely be subtitling, because that would be really great, especially for our deaf community, to be able to learn from our videos and stuff. And then next we would move on to other languages, but that mostly costs a lot of money and a lot of time. So as we get these things, these improvements will definitely be there.
Or if you guys can help out, if you're great at a language where you guys are willing to translate, that'd be great. Help us that way.
But there's hundreds of videos, so it's definitely time consuming.
Yes.
And they're growing.
And there's a lot.
Right. Right. So yeah, if we do have someone in the family that is interested in doing that and wants to be able to help out, we are totally, cool with that, and we would be very, very grateful for that. It definitely is a big project to take on. So you definitely would have to have the time to do that. We would definitely love for it to be someone that understands what we're doing here at Enter Shaolin and understands martial arts and what we're teaching with the Ngo Dac Na, because then obviously it'll be a whole lot easier to translate. So those are some of the behind the scenes stuff that I want to talk about, but we're going to go ahead while we're waiting for more questions to come in. We're going to get to some of these email questions. Jacob said, how do you deal with a flurry of punches and kicks?
Well, if the guy is just throwing punches stationary, just coming at you, I would step back, let him reach, let him waste his time, and just go to the center when you have your root. Just strike forward in the center line. I mean, punches and kicks are generally, when they're flurried, they're not straight to center. They actually come from the sides, come around, round like this, and they're coming at you. Make sure you have a distance where it's comfortable for you to get your root, center yourself in tight, and just strike forward in a straight line. 9 out of 10 times, I would say the one not is when you make the error. But 9 out of 10 times, you're going for the hit. I actually had one of my students ask me this, and he was an MMA fighter, and he was going pro and all that. And he's like, well, what happens when you fight a guy who just wants to throw punches at you? He just wants to keep coming. I said, listen, go for the shot. Why are you defending? You can counterattack or attack, but don't defend. If you defend, then it's very difficult because you're always allowing him to throw punches at you. It goes on the basis of 3 principles of attacks, okay? There are 3 things that can get a person to stop attacking you, right? Knock them out, lock them out, or if they get what they want, okay? So lock them out is very difficult when hands and feet are constantly moving, the body's moving, so you're under pressure. Obviously, we don't want to let them get what they want, okay? So the best option is to knock them out, because it's the quickest and the easiest way to achieve your goal. So center line is the best. Cover tight, get your root, get the spacing you need, step back, get the spacing you need, find the root. And when you watch, for me, when you watch and see the weight go towards your lead leg, that's the best time to spring, because once they put their weight in their lead leg, they cannot move their body away. Mm-hmm. If they're empty and they're sitting, then they can move and cut. But once they put their weight on their lead leg down, that means that they are committed towards that leg. It's very difficult for the body to move. All you have to do is make sure you really get the distance, like I said, where you're comfortable. Keep yourself tight, let them reach for you, and just spring snapshot in. And actually, when I did demonstrate my students, I said, listen, do what you want. You come at me any way you want. And when he came in, I stepped back and I shot right towards his face. I didn't mean to hit him, but I hit him. Not hard, but it stopped him right dead in his tracks. And I apologized. I told him, you all right? And he goes, I could see he was very mad, but he said, I wasn't really trying to hit you, like hit you. And I said, neither was I trying to hit you. But I said, if you look at the result, when you came at me with all these punches, what did I do? I got in very easily, and the light tap that I did stopped you. So I said, imagine if you went full force and I went full force. Just remember, I didn't go at you full force either. But in the end, he's like, yeah, he realized that I broke through. When he was starting to come at me with all the punches, throwing those flurries, the one shot, he didn't see it coming straight line because I kept myself tight. I just let him throw the punch. I waited, and then as I sat back, it's going to cause him to want to reach more. You can see it all the time in UFC when people back up. They're this close to hitting them, so they throw more and throw more and throw more. If you can just sit yourself in tight, get that space where you get that root where you're comfortable, and just spring forward. Don't be afraid to get hit, because that's where you're going to fail. If you're like, you're trying not to get hit, then you're not attacking, and so you're going to receive all the time. And so that's where I'm like, man, it's so hard to defend. Well, stop defending. Okay, I always ask my students one question. If you had a choice in a fight between defending or attacking, what would you want to do? And everyone obviously say attack. And I always know, then why play like you're defending? Right. You learn to attack or counterattack, but don't learn to defend. We don't train to defend. We train to counterattack or attack. Because if we train to defend, it goes on the principle that you're receiving energy but not giving energy.
Right.
And that's why he won't stop until he gets what he wants, because you're not going to knock him out and you're not going to lock him out. So now you're going to be hit or grabbed or locked or defeated. Let's just say that. So go on the principle of striking forward. You know, like if Fleur's like, what happens if he swings? So remember, he's open to the straight line. He's coming around from the sides. Get your arms to protect you from the sides. Cover the body in tight. Get your roots so you're a smaller target hit. And when you have that springing power too, and when you're ready, boom, shoot straight out. It's very hard. You know, that's why bullets are dangerous, because it's straight and fast. It's hard to see, hard to stop because it's a straight line. Can you imagine if a bullet was like this, going like this? It'd be a lot longer for it to travel from point A to point B. Your hands are bullets. You are the gun. Your hands are the bullets, okay? If you want to think, your fingers are daggers. Knuckles are bullets. And just shoot straight in. And like I said, 9 out of 10 times, I would say, you will effectively hit them and stop them. Straight for the face. When the head snaps back, the body stops moving forward. Where the head goes, the body goes.
There you go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and answer one of our members that are on the webinar with us. Russ says, how do you prepare for maybe getting cold cocked by someone without feeling like you're being defensive all the time or walking around with a defensive attitude? So just, I think he wants to know, like, how do you be aware and pay attention to your surroundings?
Did you say you're going to answer that one?
Or no, you're good. You're
good. I'm going to answer that one.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, ask. Okay. You have to know your environment. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and worry about someone knocking my head off if I'm going to a family event. I mean, that's just, you know, that's paranoia if you're thinking, you know, you're going to get hit everywhere by everyone. That's just paranoia. Know your environment. If I'm in Camden, you know, like,
for you who don't know what Camden is.
Camden is a bad area for a lot of people. You don't want to be there unless you have to be there. But, you know, there's a lot of murder, a lot of crime. But know your environment. Know your surroundings. Let's say environment. Know your situation. Be situationally aware where people are around you. Now, if they're strangers, why are you going to let them stand 2 feet in front of you so they can headbutt you or punch you in the face when they're coming walking up to you? I had a situation when I was in Drexel when I was in college, and I was going up to this place to meet a friend of mine, and I forget the name of the road. It was someplace in Philadelphia. But some guy just came out of nowhere, and he called me like, hey, Mark. I forget what he called me, but he called me by a different name. He's like, hey, man. Hey, Mark. And he's like, you owe me money. And I was like, oh, you got the wrong guy. You know, like, I'm not Mark. And he was like, oh, no, you owe me money, Mark. You owe me money. And right then and there, you know, that was a signal for me. I stepped back, stayed in the cat stance, kept my hand tight. I said, listen, you got the wrong guy. I put my hand in a situation where it was close, where I played like this. And I was like, look, you got the wrong guy. And I was just like this. And I didn't put my hands up the fence because then it would show how I'm ready to fight him. I let him believe that he was safe and that I didn't know nothing or that I was vulnerable, because I didn't want him to bring his guard up. If I brought my hands up to ready to fight him, then he's going to be bringing his guard up. Or if he had a weapon, he'd pull it out. So I was just played I'm a weak, you know, I don't want any trouble, please don't hurt me kind of guy. So I was like, look, you got the wrong guy. I kept myself tight, kept myself closed. And again, you know, raising your hands is a sign of surrender. So I tell my students all the time, don't put your hands up like this, because that's not a sign of surrender. That's a sign of aggression, of fighting. So keep your hands tight, keep your hands closed. And notice I'm here to protect myself from the sides, from the front. I stayed in a cat stance. I kept close. And I was like, look, you got the wrong guy. And I just I kept myself like this. I stood in this position. And I was ready. He didn't know it, but I knew it. But I was in a cat stance. I had my weight down, my root here, and I had my hands tight. I was like, look, you got the wrong guy. And I was like this, like I'm surrendering. Like, no, you got the wrong guy. And he came like within a certain distance, and I kept him within like the foot distance. I didn't let him go to a striking range to my face because I knew if he was there, he could grab me, he could hit me, you know, punch me, whatever. But I kept him within a certain distance. As he walked closer to me, I said, you got the wrong guy. And I took a step back, keeping the space. And I said, no, you got the wrong guy. I brought my hands forward, like no, you got the wrong guy. Kind of like it's a suggestion, get away from me. But I kept it within tight range. And I read the situation, and I had a feeling he was going to attack me. I had myself crouched down, and he turned around. I said, oh, I'm sorry, I got the wrong guy. He turned away, and he went to throw a punch to cold cock me right in the face. I think he was trying to mug me. As a matter of fact, either he thought it was pretty or he tried to mug me. So my guess is he tried to mug me. But I was set, ready, and I just went forward with a kick. I went boom, kicked him right in the gut. He flew, fell down on the ground. I thought I killed him because he didn't move, but I didn't stay. I didn't want to stay there and find out. I walked backwards, keeping an eye what's in front of me because I knew from behind I didn't see anybody there. So I kept walking backwards, and I saw him move, and I was like, okay, he's not dead. And I just started looking off, and I didn't want to stay there because, you know, I didn't know if he had friends that had a gun or a knife. You know, I'm always worried if a guy had a gun, what am I going to do 10 feet away? Nothing, you know. 10 feet, I'm not within touching range. You know, I'm not faster than a bullet, so I'm done. So I got smart. I got out of there. And just like I said, just be aware of your situation around you. That's the best weapon first is this. You know, Bruce Lee always said, you know, best weapon is here first. Be aware of your environment. Be aware of the situation, you know. Be in an open area. If you are walking around like crowded areas, you know, be close to a wall where you know people can't sneak up from behind you. You know, when I walk, I see the sun. I watch the shadows. So if someone's coming close from behind me, I can see the shadows that's coming up by me. So, you know, I keep a space in between people. I have my hands up. I'm walking by people, hey, hi, like this, or something like that. And I keep my hands up if I'm unaware. So you guys got to use your wits about you. Know your situation environment. That's the best thing I can tell you. And if you're ever in confrontation, you know, even if you can handle yourself, run if you can. It's not worth your life. I would walk away if I can, but in that situation, it happened so quick. You know, I was just like, listen, you got the wrong guy. He did back up. He came towards me, so I had a feeling he was going to hit me, and I hit him first. You know, so and again, it came down to the same principle we talked about earlier. I didn't defend. I didn't try to block the punch. I got my guard up. I had my hands up, so I was ready, but I got the kick before he could get his punch because I kept a certain distance away. And it made him reach, and I was able to get the kick out because my legs were longer than his arms, and I was able to get the attack. His arm really didn't even hit my arm. It actually collapsed when I hit him in the stomach. And I used the piercing techniques. It just buckled him down. He dropped. So the punch didn't even have any impact on my arm. But I had it there in case. But I went for the attack with my guard. Attacking does not mean drop your guard. It means have your guard while attacking.
Yeah.
So it came along to that same principle I did. You know, I did not defend. And Yahav, one of my students online, he actually called me about 2 weeks ago and said that he got attacked by a guy outside his house.
Yeah, that was nuts.
And that was the same thing. This guy attacked him, and he said he saw the show to go up, and he didn't defend. He said, I had my guard, I went and I kicked him first, and I punched him second, and I knocked him right down. And then the whole story was, he said, you got to leave. And the guy got up and ran in his house, and he had to beat him up again. He broke his ribs and broke his arm. And yet the guy was on drugs. He didn't feel nothing, but he got up and he ran afterwards. But still, it was a great, great story, testimony that, you know, the training that he had from online helped him a lot because he stopped this guy who was on drugs, who didn't feel pain. And he was able to keep him down until he stopped. He thought that after a minute, he said, I hit him for about a minute. And the guy, you know, a minute of getting hit is a lot. Right. And the guy finally went down to the ground. And then he like. And then he got back up afterwards. And then he like. And he ran out. On the guy too. And like. The guy was, he said he was bloody all over. Yeah, so that guy was clearly on drugs. Yeah, he was on drugs. Yeah. He said he a minute of beating, of getting hit, broken ribs, broken arm, and you're not in pain. You're either very, very tough or you're on drugs. And I don't think the guy was tough because he got knocked down on the punches. Right. But he kept getting back up. So he was on drugs. Yeah, and he was acting very erratic. So clearly something wasn't right there. And Russ, you know, I'm a female and I'm also a single mom. And I sometimes take my daughter out to Philly and things like that and crowded places and stuff. And just generally, you know, working with your Tai Chi and your Qigong and just being centered as a whole, like making sure that you're eating, you know, whole foods, healthy foods.
and just making sure that your mind, body, and spirit is in a good place is going to help you a ton, because you're just going to naturally be able to feel the presence of other things, whether there's a threat or not a threat, just all the time, making sure that your mental state and your physical state is in the best performance possible will help tons, because you're just going to be able to see and feel threats before it's actually too late. So that's another good tip. Sifu Larry, do you have any tips on this subject?
No.
No? All right, we covered it all. So, but yeah, so just keep yourself centered. Don't be paranoid, obviously, because if you're paranoid, something's going to happen. Most likely you're going to bring that to you. But there's a difference between being worried and paranoid and having that internal check that's saying, you know, you need to watch out and pay attention. So learn how to decipher that and know yourself, so you can work with yourself, and the Holy Spirit will guide you through that. Rick said, I'm not really good with, okay, I don't know, maybe he's not really good with typing. It says, I wanted to comment on Sifu Larry. He was talking a little bit about the 40 breaths, 40 breaths, I think is what he meant to say, and how it starts the chi circulation. I have a book on small and upper circulation. You guide the chi from the nose down to the chest, through the groin, into the tailbone. When he exhales, the chi is guided up the spine, over the head, and to the nose. I do this maybe a couple times a week, sitting in half lotus. My question is, do you guys have a class on breathing?
Okay. In terms of breathing, there's 2 ways you can breathe, and you answered one of them, okay? My teacher taught me there are 2 ways you can breathe and cycle the energy in your body, okay? You can go from your nose, back your head, down your spine, towards your dantian, up your chest, to the throat, now the nose or the mouth, or you can go backwards with it. But he said, pick one and stay on that one. Don't try to do both, okay? You only need one to stick with. So pick the one you want, what's comfortable for you, what's natural to you, and stick with that. There's no reason to go trying to reverse it at all. You'll never have a reason. So just take one that you find natural and comfortable to you, and do that, and just do that for the rest of your life, for your training. So you can take it from here, from the nose, and imagine it coming up from your brain, from the back of the tail, from your spine to your tailbone, to your dantian, up to your chest, and out through your nose, your mouth. Or you can do it, imagine, down here and push it down and go back and up and through the nose, through the back of the spine, up to the head and out. Either way is fine, he said, but just pick one and stay with it. Never try to cycle both, because it's counterproductive for you. There's no reason to do the other way, because you're always going to do one way only, naturally. So just develop that natural movement and breathing. And that's how you want it. So if you're wondering how I do it, for me, what's comfortable for me, I tried both ways, and I found that going to imagine from the back of the spine down to the dantian up was more natural for me. It felt very comfortable for me to do that. And that's the one I choose. I don't ever go the other way. I picked it in the beginning just to see what felt natural, the imagination of taking the breath, but it felt more natural drawing down on my spine and up my body. So that was something that I picked. I'm not saying that you have to, because that's up to you.
Yep. So try both of those, and then whatever resonates with you, that would be the best one. And definitely the 40 breaths will also help with all the stuff that you're looking to do with that as well. So Catherine says, do you have any advice or exercises for developing good high as heaven habits, particularly to overcome bad habits like slouching your head or neck forward?
Yes, don't do it. No, I'm kidding. The best thing I could tell you to do, and I did it a lot. I still do it. I do it so much. It's subconscious. I do it sometimes without thinking about it. Is take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Take one more deep. Hold that. Pay attention to your posture. Let your air go, and now you got your posture. Okay. I do this a lot of times. I would hold my breath too naturally, because I want to learn to slow my breathing down, move. I would do exercises while holding my breath. I would do and that's what we'll do in videos too. If you're doing 100 push-ups, you do 10 holding your breath, 10 breathing, 10 holding your breath, 10 breathing. It's going to deprive you of oxygen, but it's teaching you how to function with less oxygen. It's oxygen deprivation training, but it's teaching you basically how to run longer with less. So take a deep breath, hold it for as long as you can comfortably, or you can let it go. It's up to you. But for the posture, you don't need to hold your breath. I hold my breath because I want to feel my heart rate slow down. I try to slow my heart rate down. I try to last longer without breathing and feel the pulsating in my hands and my feet. It's just a technique that we do. I do. I don't know we, but I do. But,
yeah, I actually do that. Funny enough, like you've never actually mentioned that, but I've been naturally doing that just from my Tai Chi and Qigong training. And then also with my healing stuff that I do for healing massage, I do that and throughout the day when I exercise too. Like I'll find myself just holding my breath longer and longer. And the goal is not to like hold your breath till you're like like gasping for air.
Yeah,
you want to like
wants that.
Yeah, just and slowly release it out. So it's all about control. Slowly in and slowly out, and holding it as long as you can.
Yeah, but just make sure, like I said, for Catherine, if you want to do that, just be mindful of your posture by taking a deep breath. That's one of the techniques we teach in Tai Chi. Like if you're doing a posture, like single whip, brush left knee, you're like this. I just tell them, listen, take a deep breath. Take a deeper. And your posture, because when you're full of air, you can't slouch. It's impossible as long as you're full of air. So just keep that in mind. Then let go of your breath. And then your posture will correct itself. And then eventually your muscles will learn it and it will feel right. And then once you're like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. That feels so uncomfortable.
Yeah, you'll just become a better self-corrector. Like you'll be like, oh, whoa, I'm off, and you'll fix it. So just over time, Catherine, don't stress about it right now. Just keep working on it, and over time, you'll keep correcting yourself. And
breathe, take that deep breath, get the chest full. You'll look, even animals in nature actually do that when they are in confrontation. They try to look bigger. They fill themselves up with their air, and that's what they do naturally. So naturally breathe, get yourself, and that teaches also the other benefit of it is it actually expands your lungs. It actually allows you to get more air in you, and you can actually, one of the techniques I have to teach in videos, how to get that air and put pressure on you. So it actually teaches you how to force that pressure but not release it. And it's a training for the body to teach you how to function under pressure. So I'll have to do a video for that.
Yep, I'm writing that down. So I put that down, Catherine. So we'll work on some of those breath
breathing
exercises.
Training under pressure.
Under pressure. I'm trying to type delicately so I don't.
Earthquake!
So I don't make Dominic sick. All right, so Christopher says, hello family, blessings, Sifu. When does shadow boxing, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if we could try to complete our sentences, it would really help me when I'm reading these back.
Some people probably don't speak English well.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm not sure if so. When doing shadow boxing, can I apply a whipping action to my punches, or when would you do that? Or he's trying to. Okay, so he's trying to apply a whipping action to his punches, but when I tried to apply it on punching bag, for example, I feel my power and the hit is not there. I hope you can understand what I'm trying to ask. In short, I didn't feel the heavy penetration power leaving my punches when hitting the punching bag.
Okay. I don't know how you did it, so I'd have to see it. But it could be one of two things. Okay. One, you're doing it wrong. So you got to think shoulder, elbow, wrist, point of contact. When you're hitting, just feel the heaviness, not on the resistance. Because if you're measuring that, that's the other error. We got used to feeling how hard we hit by the resistance that comes back. And that means that you didn't do it right. You're not supposed to feel resist back. You're supposed to feel hit and it's supposed to move away from you. You're not supposed to feel the resistance of the whatever you're hitting, a punching bag, whatever, coming back to you. That means that you were pushing the punch. It didn't mean that you pierced it. Okay, so if you did it right and it moved and you didn't feel it, that's because you got used to feeling that resistance, and that's wrong. Right. So when you do it right, you really don't want to feel the resistance. What you want to feel is how far that bag moves away from you. That's what you want to really feel. So your measuring of what you feel as power might be off. And in the beginning, most people, they're used to like boxing, karate, they're used to hitting and following through, so they feel the resistance in it. And so they feel they're hitting hard because they feel like they have to push harder.
Right.
In all actuality, you're not doing it right. Okay. If I told you, here's a knife, stab into it, this thing, you're not going to feel it come back to you. You're going to feel it move and pierce. And that's the technique that you want to use. The hitting that you do is a piercing technique. It's not a pushing technique. So you don't want to feel that come back to you. The best way I can tell you is if you've got a friend who's big and doesn't mind getting hit, do it maybe half your power or 1/10 of your power, depending on how strong you are. I don't know how well you hit. So just see if you can say, just stand here and do this and resist me. And just see if you can go, and he can tell you. You're like, oh, that hurt. And you're like, really? Because I didn't feel it. You know, I feel like I hit you hard. You have to train on feeling that measurement differently, because piercing technique doesn't require you to feel the resistance of the bag. So you might be doing it right, and the bag is flying off, and you're not feeling it come back, and it's like, well, I don't feel like I'm doing anything. Or you might not be doing it at all. And if you feel the resistance and it hurts you, then you're not doing it right. But based on what you're saying when you punch, you're not feeling it hurt you at all, but it could be you're doing it right, and the bag's moving, and you're looking for that resistance, which is actually wrong.
Right, you're not going to have that in our system. When you hit someone right, it feels like you did nothing, and they're like, ugh. Yeah. So it's weird. I know it sounds strange, but internal things are
like I said,
different.
if you took meat and you stabbed into meat, you don't feel the resistance come back because you took all the energy and you pierced it. That's the same thing here. You're not looking for that return. Okay, one of my old teachers always told me, like, if you felt a strong punch, you felt like you hit a strong punch, you didn't do one, because basically you felt it because it came back to you and you had to overcome it. So it didn't come into the person. You did not pierce him. He's return energy, okay, came back to you. It's what we call impact value. Impact value is the amount of energy you get into the target before the target's resistance come back at you. So, and you're hitting them and their resistance can come back at you. That's a low impact value. High impact value is when you can hit and the thing moves away from you before it can come back to you. So your impact value is probably too low. Okay, if you're feeling that shoulder hurt or the pressure come back to you, when you do it right, the high impact value makes the thing move away and you don't feel it come back because it doesn't have the time to return the energy. If you get what I'm saying. So,
right, and there's a lot of different stuff on. There's a spider coming our way.
Yeah, I saw it earlier.
Yeah.
It's over
so we got a little buddy coming our way. There's a lot of different exercises, I believe, in the core training, as well as Ngo Dac Na section in regards to punching and increasing your power and stuff like that, Christopher. So check those out and play around with those different techniques. It could just be that you're expecting the bag to go flying and it's not yet because you don't have enough power behind it. But that stuff will come over time with your practice.
Remember, power is definition of power.
Yeah, it's different for us.
Over area. So if you have a good area, but your force is high, of course it's not going to be big. Right. So in order to get more power, you got to go faster with the precise accuracy.
Right.
So if you go fast and you're hitting, you're sliding, your anchor stuff, your power is going to go down.
Yeah.
So get the power by using your focus with your speed.
And
train with your focus first before you train your speed. Because it's like I always say, like teaching somebody to shoot a gun. You don't say just shoot as fast as you can. Don't worry about your aim. Your aim will naturally get better. You tell them to take the time to practice their aim, and their speed will naturally get better. So it's the same thing when you're practicing for hitting. Focus on your technique. I focus a lot on light techniques to get my accuracy right. So when I'm going like this, I'm going to hit Sije just here. I practice the top two in every angle which I can. And I practice feeling for that light technique. And then once I felt the muscles get it, then I start increasing the pressure on it. And I got the accuracy. And then it starts hitting hard because of that.
Right.
When you shadow box, okay, one of the tip I could tell you is always feel the wrist snap one way or another, depending how you punch. Always feel for that wrist. So in the end, wrist.
That's where your power is going to come from.
Get the wrist. See, no, that might be fast, but wrist. And we do training. Like I've done training. Like I tell you, turn the wrist. Always teach yourself how to get the wrist to turn to the point whether you're hitting with the bottom three or the top two. Mainly the top two first, I always say. But if you happen to hit here, just make sure the wrist turns to that point first.
Right.
And make sure that wrist is there when you shadow box. I do a lot of it, and I always practice turning my wrist to wherever it is I'm trying to hit into. So I'm going to use my power. I'm going to make sure I go here, not here and here. See, that went down here. I'm going to go here. It's going to go here. If I want to use this, I'm going to go here. If I go here, I use here. If I use my knuckles, I'm going to go here. If I want to use my pinky side, I turn to the pinky side. So however I want my wrist to be my key for my movements. And that's how you can move very fast. And that's how you can hit targets and be accurate and come in real quick and powerful. So
yeah, there's a lot of solo training on that. Some of it is in the Wing Chun section, some in Ngo Dac Na, also in the core training. There's a lot of wrist and explosive exercises.
Just type in solo training.
There you go. All right. Dominic says, in the Still and Towel breakdown video, Larry mentioned a stretching technique you had him do to work on getting his arms to come together more naturally. Is it anything different than a posterior shoulder stretch? Blah. Shoulder stretch.
Posterior?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stretches for your arms. Okay, one of the best stretches that you can do is just stick your arms out in front of you. Put your arm here if you can. If not, then you have to do this. You can go like this and bring it in.
And then you
close.
you would tie his arms in closer.
Yeah, there's tons of different exercises. One of the best ways to get your arms coming close is just cross if you can, bring it up, grab your hand from the back. What you want to do is not just bring it down. A lot of people do this and bring it down. I want you to actually bring it towards your right or left side, depending on which you are. Just push in your elbow and then lift up high. That'll stretch your shoulders. So take that deep breath. And then while bringing the hand down, push the elbow over to the other side of the shoulder. And that'll rotate your shoulders and get your arms down really, really well on both sides for you, okay? So that's a good way. Now, if you're like, well, I'm really big. I can barely, I can't, okay? Or some women, and I'm not trying to be sexist, but some women have big chests, okay? And they're like, oh, it crosses over my chest here. Well, go up.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can still do it.
Up and over. Don't go across, hit from the bottom. I can say, oh, my chest is in the way, and push from the bottom. So even a guy can have a problem that's stretching from the bottom like this. Bring it over your shoulder. Bring it over that way, and then it won't be a bother to you. Okay, and then you can do the stretches out like this, and then you can stretch out, and then bring it stretched that way. Okay. Now, on the case that you're like, I can't even grab my arm. Go to the wall. Okay, so I don't know if you can see the wall here. I can just go like this and just put my arm on the wall and just stretch my turn of my body. And then I just want to bring my arm up and then just maybe bring my elbow in from that, just pull into myself, and that'll stretch out your shoulders. If you're really big and you're very unflexible, that's a way to do it too. There's different types of exercises that you can do. One of those techniques is just bring your hands out like this. If you're like, oh, my arms are so big, like I'm not that big, so but just grab it and then go in and then try to hold it there and then just use your muscles to go like that and then just try to hold it there. And then, then just bring it in further and then just try to push the opposite direction and then the same direction. That'll help your muscles get tight, which then will teach you to relax and then allow you to bring it in further afterwards.
Right, so it'll help loosen you up.
Yeah, so there's different exercises for that.
Hope that helps, Dominic. All right, Christopher says, thank you, I think I understand. No, I'm not waiting to have the bag fly. Oh, thanks, you're welcome. All right. One's done. All right. So Alvin says, Sifu Larry often talks about getting his connection of his body to the earth with Tai Chi. What age did you get your epiphany and felt comfortable in your martial arts? Sifu Larry, come. The people have called you.
What's the problem? What's the problem? Wait, he can't be on here. He doesn't have to tell my phone.
Oh, you gotta go. You gotta go. Okay.
There we go.
Alvin says he wants to know, you talk about, your connection with the body to the earth, with Tai Chi, helping you with that. He wanted to know what age did you get your epiphany and felt comfortable in your martial arts. So, when did you finally listen to Sifu Phu is what he's really asking.
Well, let's see. I'm 28 now.
No, you're not.
What was I, 28 years old, I think I was, about that. And what was the other part of it?
About, feeling comfortable in your martial arts, when you started feeling like, you could feel like you were really getting somewhere. That's probably that day you felt everything connect in your Tai Chi, right?
I think I know when. When you got jumped by those 5 guys.
Oh, well, yeah, it helped.
It was funny because it happens
It's a great story. Tell the story.
No.
No?
No.
But he felt very uncomfortable. I was training him at that time and
Sifu will now.
No, I'm not gonna tell the story. I'm gonna tell the situation. But he was like, "How do I know when I'm good? I don't know how to do this. How do I know? And that goes to everybody. Everybody always asks that question. How do I know if I'm good enough? I said, listen, I trained you not to memorize movements. It's like I tried to magnify how to. You can't think of a fight 1,000 times because it's not gonna be what you think. But I told him, I train you to feel energy, just like I teach you how to it's like dancing to music. I train you how to feel music. I'm training you how to flow. I'm training you how to move with energy. And sure enough, within a week, within a week, he got jumped by 5 guys, and everything for him felt like what I told him. I felt like I'm watching myself from a third-person point of view. He knew everything because on the touch from the training, he just knew exactly how to control it, exactly how to move. He was even told me out of a situation. He had a guy's arm. He was slamming his face in someone's car, and he pulled him back because he didn't want to break the guy's window. It all came to him like that, and it happens. Like in a fight, you're training to feel. So it's like music, you just dance. It's just something you know. You know, they say dancing is something that brings your soul out. It doesn't, you don't get it in. It has to come from within out. Right. And combat's the same. It comes from within out. It doesn't come from outside in. You have to do it from within. And so you'll never know when you're ready, because let's just say you get into a fight, you beat one guy up. Next time you get into another fight, the other guy might beat you. You're like, oh, one moment you're confident, one moment you're not. It all depends on the situation.
I want to add some. You know, I think even now, in your mind, I have a mindset. Like I train with him all the time. So it's easy for me not to get a chip on my shoulder and go, oh, I must be really good now and there's nothing left to learn, because clearly there's always something left to learn. So I don't know. Knowing that you have it is very situational, depending on who you're around. If I'm training with a bunch of people who don't know what they're doing, I feel like I'm a master. If I train with him, you know, I feel like I'm
like you just started.
What's the point? Yeah, I'm a newbie. So you know, there's always somebody who's better than you out there, and you just got to start getting comfortable with who you are and where you are in your own journey in training.
And the one thing you can actually, after you know, and everybody does this, we all do it after every fight. You will self-analyze. Oh, I could have done this. Everybody does it. Okay.
And I think that's with any situation you're in life. You're always like, how could I have done something better?
The thing is were you in control at the time, or did you panic? Did you throw your shoulders and start swinging like this, or did you go boom, 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 and stay in your training? And that if you did stay in your training, then you did learn. Okay, you did do it right. Now, if the guy was better than you, who's better than you in terms of training, he could beat you because of that. But if he beat you because you dropped your hands or something, that's something that you did not get your training right. Yeah. So you can analyze it. And I've had students all the time. They're like, I got jumped by 3 guys. I did this. I'm thinking back now, I could have done this. Like, listen, right. If you were able to stop the danger, stop stuff from getting hurt, and walk out there safe, then everything you did was right. Yeah. There's no, I could have done this better. Yeah. Make sure that's better for the next time. But at that moment, hey, you did great. You know, you walked out there safe. You didn't get hurt. And that's very good. And so, yeah, you could say, well, I could have knocked them out in 2 seconds rather than 4 seconds. Well, training more so becomes natural, but you did do it. So don't beat yourself up about it. You have to weigh yourself out and see how you were at the moment, you know?
Absolutely. Sifu Larry, how many years into your Tai Chi before you started feeling more connected? And...
All right. So it took me a year to memorize the form. It took me another year for him to beat me up about how bad my form was. And then after that, I just... So after that, once I memorized the form, I at that time was in a habit. I practiced my Tai Chi every single day.
Yes.
And there's like an aha moment, I guess people get when they do something long enough. Well, there's no particular reason why on a specific day I got it. I wasn't thinking about anything. I just opened up my Tai Chi form and I felt my body connected. I felt my heartbeat. Really, I felt my heart kind of rush into my ankles and inside my thighs and in both of my wrists. But I felt it all kind of at the same exact time, like simultaneously. And I never really felt that before. And then I started trying things. Like you feel something different, and I started trying things with my students. I went back to a public class that Sifu was teaching, and I was trying some stuff. And it felt like my martial arts took an 80% increase in skill, like that. But it wasn't overnight. There was a lot of training before that. But in that moment, my skill jumped from where it was to where it was going.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Stay here, Larry.
Oh, there's another one for you?
Come on, guys.
Melanie. All right. Yes, you are in the right place to put that now, Melanie. Someone asked me, what would I do if an attacker had an arm around my neck and a headlock and a knife at my neck? I think we actually did a video on this. I didn't have a good answer for them then, and no time to address it that day. What would you do?
When you say arm around my neck and a headlock and a knife at my back, are you saying like this?
Oh, see, thanks.
So, yes, hold on.
You can't have a knife in your back. I don't know what you mean by you mean like this?
Yeah,
I think he means a rear naked choke from this and a knife in the back.
Like, well, that's kind of like a head choke.
I think that's what you mean, right? So obviously, I need to talk. Obviously, you need to get the knife off the back. So if you're in a vulnerability, if you're like this and you got the knife in your back, calm them down, please. Whatever you want, don't struggle. Let them feel at ease. Please don't hurt me. Do this. And if there's a knife,
I gotta get.
Do you have a knife?
I got something.
Use your finger.
Well, I'm gonna use a toy.
There's the book one.
There it is.
So if you got a knife here, you know, one of the things is if he feels that you're going to react to him and put him in danger, he's going to do what he can to stop you, right? So you have to sit there. Now, obviously, if he stabbed you, you're stabbed. I mean, there's nothing I can, there's no answer for that one except, oh, let's pray to God and hope you're safe, because there's no way if they attack you. So one of the things, like, please, you know, this is instinctive, so he will not find this a threat. Oh, please don't hurt me. Don't hurt me, okay? The knife is a danger, so you calm him down with your words. I'll do anything you want. I got money. I got this, okay? So stab me whenever you feel it. So if I'm like if I go like this.
If I stab you, it's just going to hurt me.
No, but just say stab. Use the word stab. So if I was like this and go like this.
Stab.
Right. So if I do anything where I do. So the first thing you want to do is, like, please don't look at me. Oh, now I got to get here. So, when a person's processing thought, he's slower to react. Okay. So, I mean, I said stay stab.
I'm dead.
I didn't say stay down. I said stab. So just say stab when
I'm good at you're too busy beating me up.
But what I did was I distracted his mind. Okay, so it's not just all physical. There is a mental state, psychology behind what you do. So please don't kill me. I got money. I'm scared. Now he's gonna kill me now. So if that's the case, then you're done. But if you're like, what do you want? What do you want? You know, like, you know, put in your mind, rehearse in your mind what you want to say 1,000 times. Like, please don't kill me. I got a wife, kids. I got money. Things that people want to hear. If they're there for money. Look, I got $100 in my pocket. You can have it. You know, you say to them things he wants to hear that sounds like you're submitting, that you're surrendering, and then he's not going to be as aggressive. But I'm like, listen, man, I don't care what you know. So
getting your money.
So if you're like, look, I got $100. So you're gonna use your elbow along the but once I set myself up.
You should have worn your Enter Shaolin.
Yeah, you had to tell that wouldn't hurt because I know you're a good guy. But listen, please don't kill me. See my hands here? I don't look like a threat. I put myself up. I got money. I got $100, kids, wife. You can have it, whatever. Anything that mentally calms him down, because if his mind's at rest, his body will be at more rest. And when this
Are you worried
happens,
about elbow striking the blade?
huh? Well, I'm not gonna get cut from the side. I don't get cut from the side. I have to get cut if you turn the blade in here. And even then, even if I did this, a slicing motion on a blade is not going to hurt you. Chopping motion on a blade is it's very rare that would hurt you as much. Okay, so and it's better that than your back, right? So the elbow from here, if you can see this way, I'm just going to go like this, and I'm going to please, and I'm just going to turn my wrist. I don't swing my shoulders. You see the distance I'm doing here? That's big.
I can feel that.
Yes. Turn that. And see how? No, he missed. I don't know if you can see it. But
yeah, I missed.
Actually missed
try that again. I'm not gonna stab you.
If you're like this, please. What's 5 times? No! Dang it! You see? So you're gonna hit this, and my hand's on him. So I'm set for the hand to go off. I'm also ready to take the elbow towards this at the same time, and I'm gonna turn my body at the same time because once I get the elbow, I'm gonna free myself from this, and then I can push the shoulder down, lock the elbow, depending on what I want to do. But mentally first, calm them down. Like I said, don't just be like struggling like this. No, if he had, but if he's like this, don't be like this. Like, now he might not stab you in the beginning because he might want you to be calm so he can control you and get your money or get whatever he wants. But okay, please don't hurt me. Please. See, and now I can. Now I can do thumb lock. Like, here you can say arm lock, I can finger lock, all kinds. And that's your training in the end. But first, mentally control him. Then physically control him. I put myself in the physical setup. I mentally control him by saying, please don't hurt me. I'll surrender. I'll do whatever you want. Like he said, then I'm here. And then he's going to lose. If he's holding this really, really tight, okay, hold this really tight. But if I cut this, I can slip out because of that. Okay? So that would be the best answer. That's the scenario. If he does a headlock, I can't see the arm going here back at all if he's doing a front headlock. Okay? So hope that helped answer your question. But like I said, mind, then the body. Okay? Don't just struggle and put his state of awareness of high resistance because then he's going to be more resistant to you. Calm him down. Let him know that you're surrendering. You'll do whatever he wants. and he's going to put his guard down a little bit, and that's when you should strike him. That's when the elbow comes in. Remember, turn your wrist to make the elbow come in. Don't create a big swing on your arm. Tight, quick. Those are like piercing techniques, and they shock the person. That's why when he did it, he got that shock on the first one. I told him to say stab, but and that's enough for you to slip under and get around, get out. Hope that helped.
Yeah, I think that will. That's some great advice right there. So Richard says, are you guys going to be holding any seminars in Canada in the future?
Yes.
Possibly.
Maybe.
That all depends on, we talked
God?
about this. Yeah.
First.
It depends on if there's enough people that want us to go, and we can afford to be able to do that and have everyone travel there and set up the seminar and all that good stuff. So right now it's a money thing. When we're making lots and lots of money, God willing, whenever that is, and 5 people wants to go somewhere and we need to, have some tax write-offs, then we can just kind of travel a little bit more freely then, but we're not in that position right now. So it's definitely a money issue. So if the demand meets those money issues, then obviously we would love to come to Canada, as well as many other places in the world. So that is definitely possible. Let me just make sure there's nothing else in here. Melanie, is our mic working now? I didn't see when that happened. We haven't done anything to the mic, so it should be okay.
It's on mute?
No, it's not on mute.
The light's on, that's why.
Yeah, that's supposed to be on.
Okay.
So as long as you guys hear
Can you
us
hear
fine,
us?
it might have been.
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah, it might have just been your connection, Melanie. So sorry about that.
Our mic just went quiet. We don't have a mic here.
Let's see.
A similar effect.
I have a heavy bag, had a similar effect. Once hitting my training partner right, it was literally like it did nothing. I thought to myself that it was terrible hit, but he was gasping. It's pretty amazing. Yes, it is, Dominic.
Yeah, so
it's
Dominic just mentioned what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
He had a partner, and that partner felt it, though, on the heavy bag. He didn't get the response from the heavy bag.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like you're doing anything when you hit it right. Melanie says the shoulder stretch feels good. Awesome. It does indeed. All right, we answered that one.
Someone asked me when I felt comfortable.
Oh yeah, okay. Yep. When did you feel comfortable with your martial arts?
I never feel comfortable. That's why I always train to get better and better and better. I'm in control. Like, honestly, anytime I meet someone new, MMA fighters, I got guys from this, I'm always nervous. I'm not always confident enough and arrogant enough to think that I can handle everybody and everyone. I'm always fearful that one day I'm going to meet someone greater than me. And, I humble myself and I say, they can beat me. Hopefully I can learn from them.
Right on.
But I feel comfortable in my control and everything. And I feel good about that. But, it's like saying, when did you learn to speak English? When is speaking English, the definition of speaking English, saying I know how to speak English? When is that? So for me, I'm always practicing because I always grow. I don't feel I know enough. When I can levitate and I can smash a concrete with my one finger, I think that'll be the end of my training.
And shoot
days.
fireballs out of your hands.
So until then, I'm always trying to get better. I always can get better, and everyone can. There's a saying: once you think you know it all, you do know it all. Okay?
Right.
So you won't learn from anyone. You don't want to hear from anyone, and that's when you stop learning. Okay, so you have to feel like you can always get better, and there's always ways to get better. I always refine my movements. I always try to feel my energy more. I try to move my body, connection always better. So I practice channeling better. So I'm always practicing to get better. It's my job to get this the best I can, so I can pass it on to get it to the next person that can make it even better. And that's that. I had a situation where I was in Philadelphia and I got challenged by this guy who was a champion fighter of Pennsylvania. He traveled all over the United States from what everyone was telling me. He was undefeated. He would beat everybody. And he had this, for some reason, I was training with my Tai Chi teacher and he was a friend. My teacher's teacher was that guy's teacher. So my teacher's friend was this guy's teacher, I should say. And this guy was arrogant. I could tell in his eyes. And when the day he saw me, he heard that I was a teacher. I heard I was a Kung Fu guy. He had an eye on wanting to fight me. And every time I saw him, I was like, this guy wants to fight me. I could tell. One day he had the opportunity to challenge me. And I heard about this guy. I heard that he was really, really good. And normally I don't really care how good they are. And once I see them move, then it adds. And this guy was really, really nice. And I was like, okay, maybe he does have some skill. And he got me one day when my teacher left, and he came up to me and he asked if I would fight him. And I was like, oh crap, I don't want to get beat up. I don't want this guy to hurt me. I don't want to lose. And I was like, I humbled myself and said, listen, if I lose, this guy, hopefully, he'll teach me. I'll ask him to teach me something, and I can learn to get better myself. And so I said, okay, that's fine. And I was with all these other people around me. They knew who he was, and I was new there. So they didn't know who I was. And the lady was just saying to the guy, hey, don't hurt him, and saying to his guy not to hurt me too much. And he's like, well, how do you know he won't hurt me? like a fake laugh. I was like, all right, rub it in, go ahead. And I was like, all right. So I was like, how do you want to fight? You want to connect? You want to just go from distance? No, well, we'll just connect hands, and then we'll start from there. And we went back and forth, just measuring each other, feeling each other. And I was like, you know what? I'll initiate, rather than let him initiate. I'll initiate and just get it over with. If he hits me and he hurts me and beats me, that's fine. I'll just learn from him. Hopefully, he'll teach me. And I hit him. He countered me. He countered right back, came at me, and I got in on him. I hit him in the ribs here. And you ever see the movie The Grinch? My heart was like this in the beginning. I was like, oh man, he's gonna kill me. And then after I hit him, I was like, woof! I was like this big. I was like, this guy ain't nothing. I could feel his energy, and he couldn't even control it. And after that, he started coming at me harder. He got emotional. He tried to get everything he could hit me, and I destroyed him. At one point, before he even could attack me, I shut him down and said, don't try to punch me this way. He goes, how'd you know I was gonna do that? Because I said, I felt your intent. I could feel your muscles twinge a certain way, and I could tell you were going to move this way. And I shut him down before he even brought the hands up. I could feel the muscle twinge in his arm. And as soon as he did, I circled him outside, and I brought my fist into his face. And I was like, don't try to punch me that way. And he's like, how'd you know I was going to do that? I was just thinking it. I was like, your intention was there. I could feel it. And after that, he just like, whoa, he was very impressive. The next time I saw him, I was like, what, the guy wants to fight me again? I was like, fine, and he came up to me. I said, what, is this something you want? And he's like, I would like to know if you could teach me. And he said very quietly so no one could hear, and he kept his hands tight like this. And he's like, I would know like if you could teach me. And he didn't want anyone to see it. And I was like, you'd have to ask your teacher first, because I knew you had a teacher. I said, I don't teach anybody's student without the teacher's permission. And I just don't do that. So he's like, all right, let me ask. And the teacher wouldn't let him. So I was like, that's fine. But that was a time where I always have that fear, like someone can beat me. And then once I feel their energy, I know right then and there whether they can or can't.
So yeah, always keep growing, learning, and improving. So David on Facebook wanted to know, how has the training in Israel been going?
Great. I mean, I'm meeting friends. Great. What's funny is I get the opportunity to teach people from the Israeli Defense Force, and just the last seminar I did, this guy comes up to me. I did a seminar for Moshe, and he came up to me. He's like, I'm with the Israeli Defense Force. I'm with Special Forces. And he goes, one of the things I do, I border patrols, and we have to watch for people. And he goes, the technique's amazing. I've never seen this. It's so how efficient it is, and it doesn't take much. Because if I could arrange it, would you be willing to teach the Special Forces and the Israeli Defense Force? And I was like, you're the fourth person now has been asking me that. I've met so many. I want to get you in. I want to get, but it's political,
Right.
But it's been great. It's been a blessing. God's been great. I take every day as a gift, and I'm blessed, and I'm always grateful for what I have. And I got not just life here. I tell people, like, I'm very fortunate. I have two lives, really. I have a life here and a life there now, and I'm meeting people who are great people. People are very, very nice and very kind, and it's just a blessing, and I'm training more people now, so it's not just Oliver. I've got more people now I'm meeting, and they want to train, and so it's just great. And what I have is a gift from God, and I like to pass that gift to everyone I can.
Right on.
Henceforth, Enter Shaolin.
Yay! All right. So let's see if we have some other questions real quick. I'm just making sure. Dominic says, Larry, if you didn't react so much, we wouldn't laugh and wouldn't ask questions that end up bringing you pain.
Keep asking.
He's laughing. about that, Dominic. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, maybe because we were typing and shaking it. Maybe that's why I went quiet. I'm not sure. Melanie on that one. Albin. Man, I love Ngo Dac Na testimonials. So do we. So do we. Rick says, would anyone else like to see Sifu on American Ninja Warrior?
No, I'm too old. Like, too old. I mean, I can do all the stuff, but I'm too old now. And a lot of it's tough because it's not just body control. It's like apparatus stuff. Like they do the bungee, not the bungee, the trampoline. You see people in great shape that can do it. They fail on the trampoline because they don't practice on the trampoline. I don't practice trampoline. I don't practice jump. I mean, like, jump in the water. Oh, it's time to jump. And I fall in the water. Like, I can hang on a finger. I can hold this. But
you'd have to go train for that. And
yeah,
honestly, we have so much stuff we need to do for Enter Shaolin. We don't have time for him to train for that. So sorry, Rick. I'm going to say no to that. Dominic says, oh, can you pierce Larry's skin with your fingertips? Whoa, Dominic, come on.
Hey, when I was younger, I was like 19, 20 years old. I took my fingers and I pierced watermelon with my fingers. I would never do it again.
So I'm thinking he might be able to.
I hurt my fingers so bad. I was like 19, 20 years old. I was like, I wonder if I could do this. And I jammed and I got like this deep in. And my fingers hurt for like months. I thought I would never heal. Like, I was like, I'll never do that again. I was young. I was very, like, well, I'm good. Like, I can strike. I pierced it. But I think I broke my fingers. You know, like, I would never do that again. It hurt so bad. I was young. I was, stupid, 19, 20 years old. You never think anything. But I hurt myself real bad. It's like put a fear in me that I never want to do it again.
Yeah, I can see how you can hurt yourself easily with that. Melanie says, when do you hit with a vertical fist and when do you use a horizontal fist?
It depends. This is the best way I can answer it. Wherever your hand is to where your intended target is. So if my hand was more this way, I would turn this way. If my hand was more this way, I would turn this way. So depending on your hand placement to where you want to go. And like everything, it's a feel.
Yeah.
Okay. Vertical is one of the best way you hit, but horizontal is also good. And, and someone asked me this question before, like, what if I did this? Well, it doesn't matter how you do it. Okay. What way your hand does. What matters if the three proof is behind it or not.
Yes.
If you don't have the three proof behind it, it's going to be wasted, whether it's vertical, horizontal, or somewhere in between or whatever.
Right.
Okay. You got it. The drive and the focus is the key. Power is force over area. So if that's not right, to get the drive, you got to go shoulder, elbow, wrist. That's how you get your speed right. And to get the action, you got to turn the wrist to point, and those are the two together, and that's how you have to do it. So that's the thing that's most important, getting the three proof behind whatever you strike. So whether you're here and you turn your wrist this way, I still do three proof. If I'm doing it shoulder, elbow, then it won't matter. It won't hurt. I've taken like 100 punches from people, got hit like 15 times in a row, and I just stand there and eat it. It doesn't bother me because I know the shoulder's the weakest point, and when they hit me, they're gonna bounce back in their shoulders. Now, if they did the three proof, I'm like, no, you don't have to hit me. I don't want to get hit by that. I'm not saying I'm tough. I know that there's a weak point in your strike. That's all.
All right, so John says, one of the most dangerous self situations besides being attacked by somebody with a weapon is to deal with multiple attackers. I've actually faced like 5 attackers before. Hey, I've faced about 12 before. It was not fun, but I got out okay without any bumps.
I had a story where there's 5 of us versus 40 guys.
Woo, that's awesome. So he's been attacked 5 times by 5 attackers at once back at home in Manila. One guy was actually talking trash to me at the same time, throwing some haymakers to me, which I all deflected and blocked. I don't like to strike back because it will ignite all of them to swarm on me. I was lucky a cop happened to be in the area and they all ran away. Can you suggest some tips, perhaps, at training dealing with multiple attackers? That is actually something we're going to be filming for. I don't know if you want to cover anything right now.
Okay, situational awareness. If you're getting attacked, try not to get surrounded. If you do, then there's another way. But, if you're in a situation, get to a corner. They'll all tell you, because then you can't get snuck behind. Get to a wall. Let them come to you, because if they punch you and you can turn, they can hit the wall and hurt themselves. So, that's a weapon for you too. If you can't and you're surrounded, what they always tell you, I don't know if your dad ever told you this, but, see the biggest guy you can, hit him, knock him down, knock him out. And then that happens, everyone's like, well, I don't want to be next. I told Steve Larry this, and the situation when we were just talking about the 5 guys he jumped, he did exactly that, what I told him. I was like, listen, when you know that you got to fight and you can't get out of it, just look like, I don't want to fight, guys, please, and just nail the one guy. The closest guy, the biggest guy if you can, but If he's very far, go for the closest guy. Usually the biggest guy's in your face the most.
Yeah, I was gonna say usually the tough one is the one.
But you go and don't hit him in the chest if you can. Hit him in the face because that's a down. Hit the chest, he can recover and come back up. But hit him in the nose, in the teeth, in the eye socket, and they drop, especially with a piston shot.
Yeah.
And there's a technique we call shield fighting, and I demonstrated in seminars before where I had 4 or 5 guys randomly attack me, and I demonstrate shield fighting. You know, if you had 20 guys jump, you just remember all 20 guys can't punch you at the same time. All 20 guys will throw their hands at you, but not all 20 guys can land on you.
Right, that was pretty much what happened to me. I had a bunch of people jump me at once, and they were just like they were basically beating each other up. It was kind of funny.
So you have to understand how to read and how to shield people. Just know that, like I said, 20 people cannot hit you at the same time.
Right.
20 people throw punches at the same time, but if you get the one close to you, you use them as shield and block half of the attack and then go for the other one. And it's like, well, would that be 10? It's like, yeah, no. Just remember this. If I got 10 people in front of me and I cut to the side, I have somebody blocking this side and move to this side, all of them on this side to me. No one's going to be here. So I can turn and face that way and shield him to protect me. So I have to do videos on that. Just
we'll definitely do some videos, and we'll see if we can get like multiple people, like 4 or 5 people to come in and help us film for that. So that would
and I have a story. I fought 4 wrestlers when I was younger, and we had an argument about they grabbed your dad. And I said, listen, as long as I can move, I can get out of it. And like, no way. Once you're held by a wrestler, you're done. I said, listen, I can take all 4 of you guys. I was like, you guys can each grab a limb. As long as I can move, I'm gonna get out of it. And they said, no way. And they took me down. I gave them my limbs. I submitted all 4 of them at the same time. No, not exactly one time, but I held all 4, and I made all 4 submit as I locked them out. I controlled.
I want to see a video on that. What do you guys
They couldn't believe it. They couldn't. It's like, and you're probably wondering, like, how the heck do you lock all 4 guys out? Like, how do you take all 4 guys? I had one guy in an arm bar, and the other guy tried to push me over. As he did, I grabbed his arm and put his arm on top of the other guy's arm. I had one guy in scissors lock, I had a guy in headlock, and I had them all wrapped down on the ground. I had 4 guys in a submitted position. The last guy would not tap, and the other guy's like, okay, so I get out of it. And the other guys were like, just tap, man. This hurts. And I was like, I'm not letting go until all you guys submit, because the other guys gave up and they were in pain. And the last guy had a scissors lock in my leg, and he would not give up. He kept fighting. And they're like, surrender. And he's like, no, I can have it. So then I just brought my heels towards my rear, squeezed in tight, and he gave up, and that was it. And I submitted all 4 wrestlers.
That's so funny.
It was very funny.
I would love to see that. Melanie says, now I wonder if you could cut a watermelon with a hand strike.
I'm sure karate people can do that. Yeah. Actually, that was on America's Got Talent. This guy put the Guinness World Record. I forget how many watermelons he broke with his head, but I think it was with his head, not with his hands. But he did it with his head. I think he broke like 20-something watermelons in a minute.
That's insane. I think that requires some conditioning. Dominic said that you were octopus style with those 5 guys. Pretty much.
Ngo Dac Na octopus.
Ngo Dac Na octopus. It's a new animal style. All right. So Dominic also asked, I watched the video on developing your default hands last night.
Octopus. That's funny. I like that.
Yeah, not octopus. That's great. I watched the video on developing your default hands last night. Connecting with the opponent's strike with the Wu style makes a lot of sense. Are there exceptions to this rule where you would connect with the Tan, Pak, Bong, etc.?
Listen, if you study the Wu, your Tan, Paks, Bongs are all Wus anyways. They're just shapes differently. You see, this is Wu, right? If I do this and I turn, that's a Pak. If I do this and I turn this way, it's a Tan. But it's still in the shape of a Wu. If I do this and a Bong, that's the Wu. It's just a matter of how you turn your wrist. And then, for example, if I make the Wu here and the punch came in at me hard, I would turn up and turn the energy out into a Tan position. But I stayed in the Wu. I don't try to change my wrist position to push the arm. I would rotate the wrist to make the movement work. People tend to push their arms to make it work, and that's where the failure is. The control's in your wrist, not in your arm. People tend to put force to control, and you don't force to control. You torque to control. You hit the point to control. So that's really where it is. Like, would I just throw my hands into a Tan? No, I would never throw my hands into. I would never just throw a Tan.
Right.
The problem with throwing your hands into a deflection point like a Tan or a Pak or a Fuku or a Bill, it commits you. and you can't adapt to change. This is why a lot of Wing Chun guys, when they play boxing and they get punched and the energy changes, they can't adapt. They commit to that movement, and it's not adjustable. That's why you want to do Wu, because from there I can turn, I can do this, I can do this, I can. Depending on it's the default, because every position you could turn to comes from the Wu first. So that's why you want to do the default hands first. And I demonstrate with boxers. So just give me any punch you want. Pow, 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 and I just bring my hands into Wu. And if you're constantly changing, if I do it from here to here, you know the range and distance you have to go from turning your hand to turning your hand to turning your hand. There's so much turning your wrist when you can just go like this and just keep the Wu and just stay in place and just do this. It's a lot easier, a lot less energy to have to do. And then based on the energy, once I connect, will I taunt? Will I Fook or Bill or Bong, whatever, it depends on the energy. Once he learns how to use his wrist to counter my Wu, that's when I would turn my wrist. If he uses his shoulders, I would never turn my wrist. No one's going to make me turn my wrist unless they knew how to use their wrist on me. They're not going to break my wrist no matter how much they do. Because going back to the shoulders, from the shoulders, I can send the energy back to the shoulders. It's only through their wrist can they make me turn my wrist. Outside of that, they'll never make me turn my wrist. And I tell my students, be stubborn to change from the Wu, but not resistant. Be stubborn. And then if he's going to force you, then change from here to there. But don't willingly just change, because that's the mistake that most people make.
So yeah, so the Wu is just your default, but you can always move
it's not
to
your
the Bong,
only.
the Tong,
It
the
should
Pak,
be
whatever,
your
whatever.
default hand,
Yeah.
but not your only hand. Just understand that. You can take changes when necessary, not because you should, because you felt like it.
Good stuff. Albin says, Sifu, in your professional opinion, how are the online students measuring up to those they are teaching in person? We've actually talked about this a couple times.
Now, the only people that I've been able to meet through a personal basis to tell is from the seminars and from going to Israel. And the people I've done the videos for from the Abbots.
Right, the critiques and stuff.
I have to say, some of them did better than my teaching online. Now that's
Offline,
come down. I mean, offline, yeah, live. I mean, live. But some of them, I was like, wow, they do better than my students I taught online. But that's because they put the time and the effort to practice. It really comes down to practicing. Because what I teach on the video is how I teach this person on live. The only difference is you don't get the live feedback at that moment. But it's the Abbott members. For those who aren't Abbots, they get to do a video for us, and we watch it, we critique it, and we do a counter video for them to show all the mistakes. We break it all down for them, and then they learn that way. And it's kind of like me being there, just not live at that moment. But they really, like I said, the quality of teaching that I teach on the video is the same I teach on live. The only difference is you don't get me there at that moment that we make a mistake. That's the only difference.
But the benefit is with the online, you can go back and replay that as much as possible. Yes. So I think the reason that our online students are excelling more than someone, I think if you could
because they have access 24 hours.
Right, and they can rewatch stuff, and they don't
that's the disadvantage.
What did Sifu say to me in that last lesson?
That's the disadvantage.
I think he said this. So the best of both worlds, and I'm gonna hopefully some of Sifu's students who are not already Enter Shaolin members are listening to this, would be for you to be an online member and also get to come to seminars or train in person. Some joint venture, and Sifu Larry is gonna say something about that too.
True story. When I was learning Tai Chi, I would learn stork spreads wings, and I would go home and practice it, and it would be wrong, and I would come back the next week, and then I have to relearn stork spreads wings, and then I'd go home, and then it would be wrong, and then I have to come back and do stork spreads wings. And so after I spent $1 billion working on one stupid little technique, because I didn't have a video. Right? Well, thank you.
Not you.
I didn't have a video camera, and he did. When I first started doing private lessons with him, I had a notebook. And we used to sit down, and at the end of class, we would take notes and make stick figures and stuff. And then we would go back, me and my best friend would train, and we would look at our notes and look at our stick figures and be like, yeah, what are we doing? We had no idea.
Yeah, but the internet wasn't as big back then. So now it's a great tool today to have it live and have
so
video.
I just
24 hours. Yeah, there's advantages and disadvantages to both sides.
Oh yeah, and so if you can have both, that's amazing.
Learning with me is if you're there for a private lesson for an hour, that's all you have. That's all you have.
Right, that's all you got.
So, but you get live feedback.
Right
then and there, and you get the energy, feeling, everything.
And you can get live feedback too if you have a partner. So that's another benefit to having a partner, because we do show you like the hows, the whys not. So you can really test things out, and you'll know right away, like, okay, we're doing this wrong. Let's go back and rewatch this, how to correct it. So I think the advantage to be an online student is the fact that you can repeat stuff over and over. And if you forget something, it's easy as going back and clicking and replaying the
Well,
video.
what's funny is a lot of my students, they're like, would you mind if I record this? And this is for the internet. Would you mind if I record this for them? Would you mind if I did it? I'm like, yeah, sure, not a problem. If it helps you get better, yeah, absolutely. Even today, I get students, actually, I let them film, like when we do Tai Chi, Chun. I said, yeah, just film this part so you can watch it. So when they go home and practice it, they can actually watch the video and do it. Now with the online, it's much easier because it's access to
they
24
literally
hours.
they have a library of Sifu Phu.
where also like they only film me doing the form, not breaking it down.
Right. So
I just film it so they can have a reference because I already broke it down live and they have to take pieces together. So there's benefits to both, and the best is both worlds is getting a membership and being online, of course, because you get the live energy, but you also get a 24-hour teaching.
Yep. And also, there's something I was going to say in regards to that. Oh, so like Dominic, for instance, who's on the webinar with us right now, he's been filming his training. So even when you're practicing solo, filming yourself and being able to go rewatch that, you can go, ooh, that didn't look right. And the reason you know it doesn't look right because you can go and look at our videos and you can see the energy projection and how it should be. And then you can see, oh, I'm not doing that when you go to watch yourself, and then you can be a better self-corrector and be able to grow and move faster with that.
I say if you want to have a good poem, you have to be a good poet. Poem means projection of energy movement. You have to have be a good poet. You have to have the right projection of energy technique. So if you want to have a good poem, you have to be a good poet. So watching your videos of yourself can actually see like, oh my gosh, I see Sifu do this way, but I can see I didn't do that. I can see I did this. So it's a good way of training to see yourself as well at home. It's a great idea to videotape yourself doing it. And that's what we Abbott members do. They videotape themselves. We get to watch it. We get to critique it. And then we do a counter video to help them get better from it.
Yep. And if you take the Ngo Dac Na 101 course every 3 months, you can submit a video there too. And we also have, if you just want to be able to do stuff more and you're not an Abbott, or you're Abbott and you want to get more critiques, there is a way for you to purchase those, and it's like really, really cheap. So we have multiple ways that you can get help for free that's already included in your membership, or if you want extra as well. And if you ever want to come to seminars or be able to come on a vacation or something to come train, that's all available to you as well. Just email us at support@entershaolin.com and give us a heads up, and we'll see what we can do to work you into a schedule and meet your demands and needs. So we have one more question because we're a little bit over time that I want to cover real quick. A lot. Abdi says, I'd like to know if the Iron Palm training is part of the school, and if yes, can you tell me more, please?
Is sometime part of the school?
Iron Palm training.
Oh, I don't do Iron Palm. Okay, so it's not part of our curriculum. There's a specific way to train Iron Palm, and you have to have the right teacher. One of my friend's uncle was an Iron Palm master. And one of the things he would not teach us. We were younger. He said, "I will not teach. I don't do that." But he did say, hey, if you're going to learn Iron Palm, before you learn from that teacher, you ask him to break a brick with his hands first. If he can't do that, then don't learn from him. He doesn't know what he's doing. He has to have the ability to break the brick and keep his hands safe. Otherwise, because your hands got a lot of nerves, a lot of endings in there, and you do hitting and you're damaging and it doesn't do it right, then you're going to want to hurt yourself. You need to train from someone who can break a brick with his hands if he's going to teach you. If he can't do it, then don't learn from him, because he might just be guessing. If he didn't achieve it, then how can he get you to achieve it?
Right.
So make sure that if you're going to train for someone who does Iron Palm, ask him to break a brick first. That's the advice that my friend's uncle gave us, me and my friend at the time when we were younger. He said, I'm not going to teach you, but if you are going to learn, first thing you do is ask the teacher to break a brick for you. Otherwise, don't learn from him. If you can't do it, then don't learn from him.
Right. And I would say, honestly, with our training, you have different things to help with training your fingers and your hands and your wrists and everything like that. The way that we do our internal punches, unless you're trying to literally punch through someone, I don't think it's necessary to do.
We do piercing techniques. That's our version. Palm strike is being able to hit a resistant force and do enough damage, like a heavy head sledgehammer. We're not a heavy sledgehammer. We're a pickaxe.
Right.
We designed to pierce. Okay, we go about it a different way. Iron Palm takes a lot of training, a lot of medication for your hands. So you have to have the right medicine. You cannot do Iron Palm without having medicine, I was told. So you got to have something to heal your hand quick so you can keep training on it and make your hand stronger. Without that medicine, like Dao Jiao is what they call it, without that type of medicine, you're not gonna be able to train right with it. So,
And you need a strong one, because I'll be honest with you, a lot of them that I've
today
ordered
the
online,
version,
they're
it's
watered down.
Yeah, you have to have
so,
a very good
yeah.
medication. So, if anything, like I said, we are trained to pierce. I chose the softer side because then you don't have to be physically required to do that.
Yeah.
In other words, you don't have to go through all that hitting with your hand and medication. You don't have to lift weights to feel like you have to hit hard. You have to get your focus and your speed.
Yeah.
That's really what it is, and anyone
And the
can do
energy
that.
projection.
Right. Anyone can do that if you understand how to get your focus with the speed behind it. Then you can learn how to hit powerful.
Yep.
Piercing.
Oh, and one more question, real quick. Melanie says, what kind of brick? Some are easy to break and some are not. I'm thinking the real
standard
one.
brick that you build a house with.
Right.
Yep.
That's what I was going to say.
Not clay. Brick.
Standard brick. Kiefer wanted to know, I'm looking forward to the weapons training. Will there be a certification for Wing Chun or just for the Ngo Dac Na system?
I would say for the Ngo Dac Na system, I don't want to do the Wing Chun because our system of Wing Chun is based on the Ngo Dac Na. So if you're looking for the Wing Chun based on the Yip Man style, or the Muyat style, Yip Man style, then you want to learn traditionally from them. Our version is totally different from that.
Right.
So it's our version of the Ngo Dac Na. So if you're going to get a certificate of the Ngo Dac Na, you are understanding the Wing Chun Ngo Dac Na version.
Right.
Not the Yip Man version. Ours is totally different. They don't do the basis of the Wu. You have different variations of people doing time like this, Wing Chun system. Then you have this, which is, by the way, is not the right way. That's 11 of the wrist. This is not, so that's wrong. But
Your wife says hi.
is she on Facebook?
Tell her we say
Hi.
hello. Hi.
But basically, if you're taking the Ngo Dac Na to get certified, you're going to get certified with the Wing Chun system behind it because that's part.
But it's going to be Ngo Dac Na based. And I'll be honest with you, if you're looking to become a teacher and you're wanting to be something different than what's already out there, then you definitely want to be certified in Ngo Dac Na, because not everyone can say they're certified in that. So that puts you definitely above the grade. If you're just training in Wing Chun and you're certified in Wing Chun, there's tons of people that are certified in Wing Chun.
And there are a lot of people in the Wing Chun world. Most of the lineage comes from Yip Man, but Yip Man is not the only Wing Chun lineage.
Right.
There's outside that. But he learned from a teacher too. And I met this guy online on YouTube, and he learned from a guy who was the one that family that taught Yip Man. So he talked to me online all the time. I think his name was Razor or something on the YouTube. But he's like, oh, that's exactly how I learned it. When I taught the Ngo Dac Na, he's like, that's exactly how I teach. I said, the Muyat system, I don't like. Not Yip Man system, they're all like this. And he goes, they're not like what my teacher taught me. So there's a different version of Wing Chun out there.
Yeah.
So you remember, Yip Man learned from a certain lineage from Muya. I keep saying Muya. From Wing Chun.
It's got Muya on the mind.
Yeah, but on the Yim Wing Chun, and she didn't just teach this line. She had a line like this. Her husband taught, and he taught two sons, and this is where the Razor guy learned from, the two sons lineage, not from Yip Man's lineage. So there's different ones. It's just Yip Man got it to be very popular because it got spread through him. So everyone's Wing Chun is more along the lines of Yip Man. I was gonna say Muya.
There we go. You got it right.
But more along that line. So our version is the Ngo Dac Na version, and I think if the energy is the where you want to go. I've met a lot of Wing Chun guys today who got caught up in tradition. Gotta do it like this, gotta do it like this,
Right.
and they're playing Wing Chun to Wing Chun. The problem with a lot of Wing Chun schools is they don't believe in hook punches, don't believe in uppercuts, they don't believe in all the other punches in straight lines, and so they don't train in it. And so they fight guys who are outside like boxers, and they get beat because if you never train how to handle a hook punch because you think it's stupid, then how do you handle it when you have the guy who does do it? And it proves 9 out of 10 times in most fights, straight lines do not knock people out. It's the round punches that does. So that's the power. If you see in UFC, you see in street fights, it's the hook punches, the arc punches, the round punches. They're the ones that really knock people out. Straight line don't knock people out. So, and I'm not saying anything against Wing Chun. I'm not saying anything at all. Wing Chun is great. I don't think it's bad. It just today's version of people's Wing Chun has gone bad. They do it for competitions today. They do it for the sake of rolling for rules and everything like that. And Chi Sao is great for sensitivity, but it's not for the street. Okay,
Right.
Because no one outside of the Wing Chun world is going to stick to you. Boxers don't stick. Muay Thai guys don't stick. They strike, and you need to learn how to handle from the striking side of it, not from the sticking side of it. The benefit of the sticking side, the actual reason why I roll, is to once you can make contact, that point there, and to learn how to move the energy. That's where the Chi style is supposed to help you. But to fight in a Chi style mode is the wrong way. I've seen videos, people trying to do this and trying to get and stick to people. Boxers just moving, to tag them because these guys are reaching for the touch, and it's like, what are you doing? This guy does not want to play that way. It's like having a boxer fight a wrestler, and the guy wants a boxer when the wrestler's taking you down. It's not going to work.
You need to be adaptable.
You need to have the adaptability to change. And that's why I really like the Ngo Dac Na, because it's a system of energy that can adapt to change and adapt to situations.
Right.
You know, that's why we do the default hand, because then at any change, we can adapt to that. But most people who commit to a time, like I was talking about, they can't adapt. And that's why the punch slips in, because they cannot adapt to the change of energy. And so you must have the ability to adapt. You know, if you can't adapt, you can't survive. You know, that's the theory of evolution, right? But, and it's the same, if you can't adapt to change of energy, you're not going to survive too well.
Yep. Yep. So for the certification for Ngo Dac Na, you know, you are going to get certified in our version of Wing Chun and all that stuff, but it's not going to be just that. You know, you're going to be literally certified in all the principles that we teach.
Wing Chun.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's definitely going to be a well-rounded curriculum that's going to help you be able to adapt in any fighting situation, which is what we want. If you're in a situation, we want you to be able to handle it, whether you're on the ground, close quarters.
And you're finishing on tail side.
Go ahead.
And just to let you know, Wing Chun is just a word. Okay.
Right.
Any style that you do, the most important thing is about the energy, how you move in that energy. That's what's important. Okay. You want to call it Tai Chi, you want to call it Judo, you want to call it boxing, you want to call it Jiu-Jitsu. I don't care what you call it. That's just a word.
Yeah.
It's the energy that matters behind it. So I don't care what you want to do. If you're stuck in your mindset is, I want to learn the tradition of it, that's fine. Go learn the tradition of Wing Chun. I can teach you that, show you all the tradition, but it's only get you so far. You know, I see with Sifu Larry when he was learning Wing Chun, I told him many years ago, I said, listen, you're gonna need to you're gonna have to learn to take the Tai Chi, because you gotta broaden your horizon, because you're gonna get to a point where you're gonna get stuck under pressure, and you're gonna want to try to push forward. When a guy stronger than you does that to you, you have to learn how to handle the force. And so I said the Tai Chi will help you learn how to convert energy better. The Wing Chun is not about the conversion. Wing Chun is about hitting through. And the problem with that is, what if the guy's doing the same thing and he's just stronger and faster and better than you at that? What are you going to do? You're going to get stuck. So you need to learn to convert. And even my other student, Sifu Todd, he went through the same thing. He played one of my students that today. He was very strong. He couldn't handle him at the beginning. I mean, it was like when I first saw him, he was learning the Wing Chun. I mean, this other guy was learning Wing Chun from another teacher, and they got together just to roll, and I would say 90-10 to the other guy. My student was losing. And he's like, the guy's so strong. I said, listen, stop. The reason why he's strong is because you're fighting him. He's not strong. You're a strong resistor. I said, you gotta learn to convert. Instead of converting, what you're doing is you're challenging his pressure. I said, learn to convert. I said, you need to start to take Tai Chi, because you need to learn how to convert energy. You're doing the same thing. You're trying to push back, but he's bigger and stronger than you. He's going to win every time. I said, you got to learn to convert. You know, you're not always the strongest guy. So you got to go against someone who's strong, and you got to learn how to convert that energy. And so next time he played him, he was doing the Tai Chi. It was more like 70-30. Then he played again. It was like 60-40 in favor of the other guy. Then after about a year and a half, he played him again, and it came like 90-10 the opposite way. My student destroyed him, because now his strength doesn't work. He learned how to convert. So every time he was convert and brought it in, and he was like, and that guy at the beginning said, would never admit that my student was bad. Never. And after he was like, whoa, you got a lot better. And because he couldn't touch him. There was nothing he could do. He could not get in. He forced, he shoved, he did everything he could to get the shot in. And my student learned to convert. He learned not to fight. He learned to convert the energy. And he just couldn't handle it. He was like, wow. He's like, you got a lot better than me. And he admitted he was better, because he saw there was nothing he could do. There was nothing. My student was converting rather than challenging. And that's where, you know, if you're challenging, that's where the strengths can come in, because you're playing toe to toe. And you don't want to do that. You gotta play like fist to toe to fist, you know. Wherever he is one way, go another way. You know, if I can't beat him this way, like he's trying to bring my hand out, I'll bring him this way. I'm still gonna go in the direction instead of coming at, I'm gonna go towards. So I'm gonna let him come towards me this way. He's still going my direction, just this direction, not that direction. He won't go at me, but towards him. And that's what the idea of conversion is. You're changing the energy, not stopping or slowing it down. If anything, you're gonna accelerate it or return it, one of the two, or both, accelerate to return. But that's the key, and that's the way you want to train. And energy is energy. It's universal. I don't care what country you're from, what style you call it, what language you say it is. You know,
if the energy's right, it's right.
Styles and movements, what do you want to call this? You know, this is called a Wing Chun Wu style, right? And Tai Chi is just a guard hand. You know, it's like, who cares what it's called? Tiger. I can do tiger. Oh, that's my tiger. And it looks the same. It looks the same. I can do snake and do this. And it's really how you control the energy that matters. This could break if I do it wrong. This could break if I do it wrong. It's all the energy behind it. It's just like I said earlier with the punches. It doesn't matter how you punch. It's how the energy works behind the punch that matters.
Absolutely. And that's why our model is don't let style define you, let energy refine you. All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming on. We appreciate it. To our Facebook people, hi, thank you so much for watching. And feel free to, share this video. The replay will be up on YouTube as well as on Facebook, as well as on the weekly update. And for those of you that are not part of Enter Shaolin and you want to, check us out and you haven't checked out our free ebook, you can go to entershaolin.com/ebook and get that, as well as 5 intro videos. Or if you're ready to jump all in, go to entershaolin.com/join. And everyone that's been on here, thank you so much. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Any questions you have for next week?
Yes, send it in to support@entershaolin.com. If you have some questions you want to send in advance, even if you can't make it, we'll cover it and you'll get to watch it on the replay. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.